Hi, this is Brad Linder with Liliputing, and this is a rather unusual looking tablet from RCA. The reason it's unusual is because it's not just a tablet. You see the stereo system behind me here. It's actually designed to work with that. You slide it in and it acts as a sort of touchscreen controller for internet media playback. The tablet itself is a little bit thick, but not particularly heavy. It's about 14 ounces, but it's about an inch thick here. And that's because it's really designed so you can use it on your lap, you can take it and go, but it's really designed to work primarily with your stereo system. On the side here you can see we've got a mini HDMI, micro USB, a little rubber door here protecting a micro SD card slot if you need extra storage, power button. On the bottom, these little docks that go into a docking station on the stereo system, so there's a headset jack and power, so it draws power and sends out audio. And that's mostly what you've got on the tablet itself. There's a little speaker on the back. It's good enough to basically hear a couple of things when you're using it as a tablet, a standalone tablet, but you're going to want to connect it to the stereo system for good audio. It's relatively cheap hardware. It's got a Rockchip RK3066 ARM Cortex-A9 dual-core processor, 1 gig of RAM, 4 gigs of storage. Fast enough for basic tasks. Let's go ahead and fire up a web browser, for instance, here. So it works. It's got a 800 by 480 pixel display. It's not very high resolution, but the bigger problem is really that the viewing angles are pretty awful. So if you tilt this thing, it's pretty hard to see. And that can be a problem not just if you're holding it and trying to watch videos or play games, but also if you're docking it. Let's do that again so you can actually see it. So we slide this out. Turn this off, slide it back in, should automatically turn on and go to internet. But when you are up here, say you're going to Google Play Music, and when you're looking straight ahead, it looks fine. It's not that difficult to choose your songs, but when you're at an angle, if you're not at eye level, you might have a hard time seeing song titles and other things. So the viewing angles can be a little bit of a problem, not just when you're holding it like a tablet, but also when you're using it like an internet video system or music system. Comes with a wireless remote control, which you can use for basic Android tasks. So we can go to home, there's back button, we can switch to FM radio, back to internet, CD, there's a CD player built in, and there's Bluetooth capabilities as well. And you can also use these buttons to switch between line input, radio, Bluetooth, and internet. As a Bluetooth speaker, you should be able to sort of detach this and use it from across the room, so you can use the tablet to control media playback even if you're holding it like a tablet. It gets around 3.5 to 4 hours of battery life depending on usage. So you can sit on the couch while you're listening to music, or you can also use that HDMI port to plug it into your TV if you wanted to watch YouTube videos or Netflix or other things while using these speakers. I've had a hard time getting it to pair with the Bluetooth speakers, but I have not had any difficulty getting my Google Nexus 5 smartphone to pair with the Bluetooth speakers. So if you just wanted to use these the speaker system for your existing phone or tablet, you could do that. Let's go ahead and go back into Google Play Music here and play a little audio. We can pause, we can play. So it works pretty nicely in terms of doing some basic controls. The problem is the remote control really isn't optimized for all applications. So for instance, in Google Play Music, it works for the most part, but sometimes it's hard to figure out which buttons are going to perform which actions. Play and pause works, skip track works, but these up and down buttons, it depends on what screen you're on. So you kind of need to, there we go, now we're on this screen. Let's say I can select something, select, scroll, then I can hit the back button. It should take us to the previous screen. And now suddenly we're out. But now to get back into Google Play Music, I need to use the arrow keys until I know I'm in the sidebar, so it can be a little bit hard if you're not standing right in front of it using the touch screen to navigate. The bigger problem I found is if I'm using, say, Pandora to listen to music, the play and pause works, but the skip track button doesn't work. So performance with the remote is going to vary depending on the application, but it's a nice feature to have this wireless remote control. This entire system sells for about $178 at Walmart. And in terms of sort of loudspeaker performance, and decent sounding speakers, they're not necessarily the best speakers you're going to find, but if you treat it like an FM radio with a built-in CD player and Bluetooth capabilities that also happens to work for internet audio, it's not necessarily a bad deal. If you think about it another way, though, if you already have an Android tablet, you primarily want to use this as a speaker system, you might be better off just getting a Bluetooth speaker. Then you can just pair it with your Android tablet, and it might be smaller, more compact, and possibly sound just as good. These nice big speakers look pretty good, but they don't actually sound that much more clear than a $50 Bluetooth speaker that I have in my kitchen. They're a little bit louder, but they're not necessarily better sounding, I think. It's going to be in the ear of the beholder. I'm not really an audiophile, I would say, but so some people are going to find different speakers to sound different, I suppose, and I'm not going to necessarily pass judgment there. I don't think it's a waste of $178, but it is a pretty substandard tablet. So if you were buying this thinking it's a way to get a stereo system and a decent tablet, no, it's not. It's a way to get a stereo system that happens to be controlled by Android and has a tablet that you can use in a pinch, but you can probably find a much better tablet if you really wanted to. That said, it's got an FM radio, it's got a wireless remote control, it's got Bluetooth capabilities. Like I said, it's not a waste of $178. It's actually a kind of neat little device, and it kind of gives me hope that that if enough of these do sell, or if RCA sees enough interest or enough constructive criticism, maybe they'll come out with another model that has a better display, better viewing angles, maybe better battery life, and we could see this platform really sort of evolve. We've seen lots of relatively inexpensive tablets with faster processors and better screens than this, and if this were one of those devices, I think it would be a lot easier to recommend. Anyway, so that's a quick look at the RCA Internet Music System. Sells for $178. This is Brad Linder with Liliputing, and you can find more details at liliputing.com.